Alright, I'm with Concordia head baseball coach Jeremy Geidel to preview the upcoming 2013 season. Last year was somewhat of a breakthrough campaign with 25 wins. Kind of summarize last season and what you saw that provides optimism coming into 2013.
Yeah, last year we made a lot of progress. Obviously, breaking the school record, 25 wins, it was basically a season where we had a lot of seniors that had been through the program. They knew how to play Bulldog baseball, and they were committed to winning, and they did a great job in the offseason preparing themselves. Obviously, looking at 25 wins, it's a nice mark to have, but you can always look back at the end of the season and see about 5 or 6, 7 more games that were close, that a mistake here or an at bat here cost us a game. And so we really felt that even though it was a good season from the wins, there's still some unfinished business yet to take care of, and that's why the 2013 season we hope to expand on that win column because of the returners that we have, but then also the additions that we had made over the off season with the recruits and stuff that we brought in.
Offensively, for a team that finished second in the GPAC in batting average, fourth in runs last year, you've got Ray Finley and Andrew Yarrell, Kyle Ivanoff back in the fold. Talk about some of those guys and kind of what you expect to see as they are more experienced now heading into this season.
Yeah, they're obviously going to be the nucleus of our batting lineup, and I think last year we had some good successes in those stats that you mentioned. I think the thing that why we didn't win 30-plus games was because of the strikeouts that we had and also the lack of doubles. Those are the two major areas that we're going to look at improving this next year, decreasing our strikeouts, and then obviously getting more guys on second, and things like that. So Kyle obviously stepped into the 3-hole midway through the season last year and did a great job. Ray being a veteran catcher, but also a good guy in the lineup, put him in a situation to be successful. Hopefully, maybe down lower in the lineup, and then also, you mentioned. A couple other hitters that are going to be returning. Yarrell, who's we're not quite sure where you're going to put him. As a sophomore this year, we expect bigger things than he did last year as a freshman. But he is a DH because of an injury. But this year he's going to be looking at playing third base, so he's got a lot more responsibility. And again, he is only a sophomore.
Zach Goodrich was one of the better hitters in the conference last season. Now he's on your coaching staff. But how do you replace that productivity?
Yeah, you don't replace players like Zach Goodrich. I mean, he is probably one of the best players that come through this program in its school's history. He is probably the best hitter in conference. He hit .501 in conference last year, and so he was definitely a potential candidate for Player of the Year last year. He didn't get that award, but he definitely showed the stats. And so you don't replace him with one guy. You have to replace him with a couple guys. And so hopefully we brought some guys in that can do the job. But he was the catalyst for our offense. This year we're not hoping to have one guy be the be-all guy to get us going, but have multiple guys stepping up and getting it done.
Just run down some other guys that maybe are stepping into larger roles this year that you're expecting to see good things from.
Yeah, last year we had a big senior class. We also had some freshmen contribute last year. So the sophomore class is going to contribute a lot this year. Having a year more experience is going to help them. So obviously Andrew Yarrell being a sophomore, obviously playing third base right now, which is a new position for him. Coming out of high school, he was a second baseman. We also have a sophomore, Sean McCartney, who will be a catcher as well. So he and Ray will be splitting that time back there, and Sean got some time last year early on in the season because Ray was needed some rest and things like that, and split time there. Daniel Wilkerson came on strong in the outfield. Never played the outfield before. Stepped out in right field during our off season, for preseason practices, and did a good job there. So he's a sophomore. Other roles, obviously, we expect Kyle Ivanoff to continue to do what he does at shortstop. And then you have, that's the infield type of situation where we're having guys who return from last year step up. On the pitching staff, We had Godfrey as a starting pitcher last year as a freshman. He's going to be stepping up as a sophomore this year and hopefully be a guy we can count on to get things going. And then obviously Jeremiah Luber is going to be a senior this year. Basically came on strong as a starter last year and now looking to be a full-time starter all year. So right now, those are the guys that got experience last year that are going to have to, as another year under the belt, going to have to step it up even more.
Talk a little bit about that pitching staff. You've got 6 of the top 8 back in terms of ERA. Is that kind of an area you're looking at to be one of the bigger strengths of the team?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that's going to be a strength. I know Coach Couch does a great job with their pitching staff, preparing them, getting them to be mentally tough on the mound, and also then he's also been working with them on their pitch count right now, but also what pitches they are throwing and stuff like that. So it will be kind of our group of guys that we're going to look to really just keep us in the ball game. And if we can do better with our doubles and less strikeouts, it's going to be better offensively, puts less pressure on our pitching staff. So yeah, we really feel good about our pitching staff, especially on the back end too, having returners who are relievers. Where you have Heath Binker, he's a junior this year. He's going to be kind of our back end guy, cleanup guy, and then also Jordan All, a senior, will be a closer this year. And so those 2 guys being veteran guys. We have a good starting core and a good back end kind of staff as well, so feel very good about that. Now there are going to be some new faces in the middle, eating up some innings here and there, but feel very good about how we can put them in a successful situation.
The team was picked 7th in the preseason GPAC poll that was just released. What's going to be the key to kind of cracking the top 5 of the GPAC and making another move up the conference?
Basically, it's going to be consistency. Can we be consistent at the plate, and not have a game where, we get, we're, one or 2 hits this game, and the next game we go 15 hits. Just being consistent, doing the things that we control, which is defense and throwing strikes. I really think that, being picked 7th in the conference is a good spot for us because we can go up and use that as motivation. Because I think we did lose a lot of seniors, therefore that could have contributed to the coaches looking at that. But we also again feel good about the new guys coming in, and then the talent level of our returners. They've done a great job in development of their strength, their conditioning, but also their skill level too.
When you're sizing up the rest of the GPAC, what do you see? How do you feel like it's going to shake out? I know Doane came out on top last season. How do you feel like your team stacks up?
Well, Doane lost some good players too this year. I think the biggest thing, they're always going to be at the top. They got some pitchers returning. They lost their starting pitcher, their horse on the mound. They also lost their shortstop, which was their catalyst, their Goodrich. So they lost him too. So how do they replace those guys? They're always going to have talent. They do a good job recruiting, so they're always going to be competitive. And so for us, it's a matter of are we willing to go out there and just compete with them toe to toe and go into the last out? And so Morningside was competitive last year. They lost their big pitcher, but their new coach, his second year, they're going to just reload as well. Mount Marty's always a scrappy team. They're not going to be flashy. They're just going to go out there and they're just going to get it done and work hard. Midland's got a new coach. You don't know what to expect from them. Briar Cliff, they've been good in the past, and so they're going to be able to come in and work hard. And then you have Dakota Wesleyan, I think the other kind of sleeper up there in the north that you just don't know what they're going to do because of they recruit a lot of junior college kids. What's the chemistry of that team and things like that. So it's just, the conference is built to where any day anybody can beat anybody. In Dordt, they may be down at the bottom of the conference, but they have a couple pitchers that can beat you like they did last year. We ran into their ace, and so it was a 1-0 ball game, and it came down to a diving catch by the center fielder that won the game for them. So it's a fun conference to be in because of that. But again, the consistency, those teams that can be consistent are the ones that can be successful and give us a chance going in that last week. I believe we have Morningside Northwestern the last week of the season at home. That if we can be in the top 3 or 4 that last week, we're going to be sitting pretty good.
As a baseball team in Nebraska, at this time of year, obviously it's tough to see your team play in actual game situations. Tell me a little bit about what kind of workouts they go through and how they're able to try to simulate some of those game situations.
Yeah, it's tough. We're in northern school and we're getting hit this year with some cold weather. Last year, this time, we've been outside probably a week because of the warm weather. The fortunate thing for us, we have a facility that allows us to go inside and spread our defense out to a full 90-foot bases infield. We're able to get our bullpens in. We're able to get our long toss for our outfield. So our arms are in strength, are ready. They're in shape right now. Our ground balls, we're getting 100-plus ground balls a night. Our hitting, we got 2 nice hitting cages in our indoor facility outside, away from the field house where our guys are getting over 100 swings a day there. So, yeah, we're manipulating space and time and facilities, but our guys are going to be prepared. The only thing you're not going to have is game time reaction and game time speed, but that's just typical for a northern team. And therefore, we go out there and we do the best we can. Opening weekend, those first 3 weekends are big from the standpoint of you just scratch and claw your way through, and do the best you can, especially opening weekend when you go to Kansas and maybe the school's got a weekend or 2 ahead of us. We just got to compete hard and take what we can. And basically in that situation, you can't just give a team freebies, and that's where it comes down to being consistent and not creating errors and walking kids.
Last thing, you start the season, as you mentioned, with a little Kansas tour, and then you've got a trip to Florida in March. Give me a little rundown of the early season schedule there.
Well, our season's been the same as last year as far as the first 3 weekends, and it's a tough schedule. I think overall it's a harder schedule than last year because we have Bethany, which we can compete well with. Mid-America Nazarene, we've ran across in the recruiting pass, and they're recruiting some of the similar kids that we are, so they're going to be tough, and they're big last year. They can hit the ball. Oklahoma Wesleyan, obviously being an Oklahoma team, is going to be able to get a lot of talent, so they're going to be a good test for us too. So it's going to be a good run, good opening, 12 games for us before we hit the spring break. Now, spring break can be tougher for us this year. We don't have the 15-win teams down there from the north. We're going to be playing teams that won 30-plus games last year. We're also going to play another Division II school, and then we're also going to play Southeastern, a Florida team, at their park. So it's going to be a tough week for us, but it's going to be a week that we're going to be able to see ourselves. How do we compete against those upper-level teams that would be in our conference, the top 3 of our conference? So it's going to be a good test for us. But I think the guys are eager. This is a working group. They don't talk a lot. They really get down to business, and it's been fun to coach them. I don't have to get, really the motivation's there internally, so it's not a lot of rah-rah from me. It's just a matter of putting them in a situation, say, let's get to work, and they're going to work hard.